Here's a video of my eye model, the different components that I used. I just mentioned I used pipe cleaners as my optic nerve that went through the optic disc, and they're sticking out of the back of the eye. Here I have a foam sticker that's kind of cut in the shape of the ciliary body, and I've just stuck it over the side of the bowl. For the fovea centralis, I used another piece of foam that I cut smaller that I would set on top of the macular area, like this. And the back or the bottom part would be the sclera. I also used a plastic bag for the posterior chamber, and that would be in the back of the eye here behind the lens, just in this area. For the canal of Schlemm, I used just a straw as my tubing, and I set that up here in the back of the bowl. For the trabecular meshwork, I used a piece of wreath material, and I just put that on top of the canal of Schlemm. For the choroid, I used just red beads that I had cut out, and I set it in the bottom of the bowl here, just like this. For the optic disc, I used just a bottle cap that I put a hole inside of so that I could put my optic nerves through the pipe cleaners. So I have a blown up balloon for the vitreous humor, and that holds the shape of the eye, and that would be in the back of the eye here. So I have a plastic bag that I'm using for the aqueous humor and the anterior chamber, and that would just be behind the pupil here, but in front of the lens. I'll just go here. For the retina, I used a cut off piece of a rug, and I set that in the bottom of the bowl here. I used another plate as a lens. So here would be the iris and the pupil, and this would be the lens. I used a bread tie here to hold the two bowls together, and that would be the suspensatory ligaments or the zonules of Zinn. The covering over the pupil, which I'm using a cup for, would be considered the cornea. The hole here would be considered the pupil. For the macular area, I have just a round piece, just a foam piece that I set in the bottom of the bowl. This brown part here is considered the iris. And finally, for the different muscles, I used Post-it notes. So we've got the medial rectus, the inferior rectus, lateral rectus, and the superior rectus.